Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC and this is Blue Lines TV, and today I'm actually bringing up a talking point between Morata and Olivier Giroud. Now, just to give you guys the lowdown, a lot of people aren't happy with Morata. Not only is it his poor finishing, but fans are annoyed at the fact that he goes down very easily and the fact that he doesn't really contribute much offensively. Now, Olivier Giroud has come and he has contributed quite positively to the Chelsea cause. Of course, we've got someone with physical prowess who can hold off opposition defenders, he can link up the play and he can win a ball in the air. And a lot of fans want to see Morata out of the team. A lot of people are very exasperated with his performance against Manchester United. Yes, he did hit the top of the crossbar. I kind of feel he should have done better in that opportunity. I see a lot of the top strikers finishing that move. And people are fed up now. They want to see Giroud playing in the team. But I'm just going to give my thoughts and opinions on this whole matter and who I think, in fact, should be continuing to play up front for Chelsea. And again, starting with Morata. Now, I'm going to state this. And to be honest with you guys, I was making the same point during the summer before we signed him. And I think as fans too, a lot of us, we need to not get so excited at any new name that's linked with us or any new signing that's made. Again, with football, you can kind of get an understanding of how a signing is going to fare if you look at the player's past previous history. And I think if a lot of fans have seen Morata beforehand, they would have noticed that in front of goal he's still not clinical. They would have noticed that he does go down a lot of times as well. And I feel that maybe their frustrations wouldn't be as severe as they are right now. And I need to make this point, you guys. With Morata, we have to have patience with him. Yes, he's 25 years old. He should have done better in some of the goal-scoring opportunities that he has made for himself. But again, this is a guy that's 25 and it's his first time playing as a first-choice striker in his entire career. He's played 7 years, made his debut at 18 years old for Real Madrid. The first time in 7 years he's playing as a first-choice striker. It's understandable that confidence is going to be the number one thing that affects his game, because you've got to realise he's never had that time where he's allowed to have a bad game and then be straight back in the team. When he has a bad game throughout his previous history, he's been out of the team. He's had no continuity behind him. At Real Madrid, he didn't play many of the big games for Real Madrid. Most times he was coming on as a substitute in the last half an hour of a game to give a rest to Benzema, and that's how he was made basically stat padding in a lot of ways. And I feel that with Morata, we have to look at some of his positive attributes. Number one is turn of pace. Let's not forget the goals against Stoke City. Incredible goals, incredible pace. That's Morata at his finest. That's Morata at his best. Let's not forget that he can carry the ball with him and he can run at people with the ball. I always like strikers that have the ability to beat someone one-on-one. I think it provides an extra facet in their game. I think with Morata as well, yes, he is very good in the air. He was better than Diego Costa. Honestly, when it comes to attacking balls, I'm not saying winning them, but attacking a ball inside the box, he's been the best guy we've seen probably in the past 10-15 years. Drogba was the last one to be amazing in the air. Morata is nearly, not as just as good, but he's very high when it comes to that. And I feel that these are the attributes he needs. Now, why is Morata struggling at Chelsea? And I think the number one thing, in my opinion, is the fact that Morata is told to play a lot of times with his back to the goal. And I think naturally when you do that, this emphasis in Conte systems for the striker to be able to drop deep, to link up the play with other players. There's a lot of responsibility in terms of positional play as well. And of course, that responsibility of always being the outlet every single time, I think it does make it quite difficult. I think the fact that he's playing further away from the goal than actually being inside the box, that can make it difficult. Now, there is a benefit to this, and that's the fact that as he does develop and grow, he is going to become a more complete player all around. But because of this, it's going to take him time to be that striker. But also the fact that Morata at Real Madrid and in Juventus, he wasn't necessarily using the same way that Conte is using him. With Morata, it was about running into the channels. It was about playing on the last line of the defence. It was about getting inside the penalty box and obviously affecting the goal within there. And I feel that at Chelsea under Conte, it's just not the same things, because again, strikers just don't really score that many goals under Conte. Throughout his previous history, only Tevez and Diego Costa were the only guys to get 20 goals or more in a season, and that's in every competition. No strikers got more than 20 goals in the league, and honestly, there's a reason for that. If you see how we play, It's always on the collective and the team over individuals. We don't necessarily create tons of clear-cut chances. We're not peppering opponents with shots on goal. We like to go for a few quality chances over a lot. And I feel that because everything's so precise and because the strikers don't necessarily get a constant supply of service on goal, I think that when it does come to those goal-scoring opportunities, that's when their confidence can definitely, drop a bit, because it's the fact that when that one opportunity comes up they've been waiting for the past 30 minutes, they know that they need to score, because if they don't, they might not get another opportunity for a while. And I think that's the issue that happens when you have systems that rely on creating one or two quality chances throughout a game over a constant stream of short opportunities. And I think for Morata, he needs that confidence in front of goal, because he's never had that throughout his career. People look at the chances he's missed so far at Chelsea, see the stuff he's missed before and at Juventus and at Real Madrid. It was ridiculous. If people had seen that, I think a lot of people would have been much more realistic with their expectations of Alvaro Morata. It's not fair to be like, oh, he's 25, he's a professional, he should be finishing that. No, the context of the situation is that he's a 25-year-old that hasn't played as much football as he should have. Now again, people might be thinking, oh, why did we pay the money for Morata in the first place? Well, in a way we were kind of forced to. Conte did force out Diego Costa. The club took too long negotiating with Lukaku, and he decided to go to Manchester United instead. In a way, the amount of strikers that we could have brought in were very limited. And you might be thinking, but why was it so limited? And that's the fact that it's how we use the strikers. Now, a lot of people were talking about Aubameyang. Why couldn't we go for him? And you know what? You guys are completely right. Why didn't we go in for a player like that? But then it brings back to the point I'm making about our system and how we play. We know that Aubameyang's the guy that plays on the last line of defence. We know he's all about running into channels. He doesn't necessarily get involved in the build-up phase of, chance creation. And he just wouldn't have worked at Chelsea, because again, we need our strikers to be able to do more than that. And of course, this is why I keep making this point all the time. We limit ourselves to the type of attacking players we can bring to this club due to how we play, and that's how strict and regimented it is. Your players like your Icardis, he wouldn't be a Chelsea player because he's kind of similar to Aubameyang. Yeah, doesn't have the pace, but he's a poacher and he focuses on getting inside the box. And you know what? You know why players like that wouldn't work? Because we have a guy who plays exactly like that. A penalty box player, fox in the box, that is Michy Batshuayi. Now, it's no surprise to me that Michy is doing very well on loan at Dortmund. And the reason is the fact that he's able to play his natural game. He's able to run on the last line. He's able to attack spaces in the box. He's got a constant supply of chances being created for him. And he's that focal point up front as well. And that's what's really helped him. Now at Chelsea, we just don't use our strikers like that. This is why it's hard for us to really find a suitable replacement for that. And this is why maybe the type of calibre of player we're looking at isn't necessarily as high as it could have been. Now, I think that's enough about Morata. Moving on to Olivier Giroud. And yes, Olivier Giroud is a Conte signing. Conte's always been appreciative of Giroud's skill set. Ideally, the first choice target that Conte would have liked to have had was Lukaku, but again, the board messed that one up. Another one was Benteke, but Benteke isn't going to leave Crystal Palace because he's their only striker. They're near the relegation zone and they can't afford to lose him during the middle of the season. Edin Dzeko couldn't come in the end as well. So this meant that Giroud was the fourth choice signing, but Conte does like the player and he was perfectly happy with the guy joining the club. Now with Giroud, again, he's got that prowess, he's physical, he's had experience in the Premier League. Let's not forget this, you guys. We complain about Morata's finishing, Giroud's been just as worse. We've had a history of seeing some of the massive misses he's made throughout games. So let's not trick ourselves into believing that he's a suitable replacement for Alvaro Morata. I kind of feel the reason why Giroud isn't playing in some of these big games especially is the fact that he doesn't have any pace. As I made the point earlier, a lot of times our strikers are on the halfway line when we're defending deep and they are that outlet for the counter-attack. Now, as we saw against Hull City, anytime Giroud was in that position and he had to run at people or turn, he was just too slow. He doesn't have the legs or pace to transition from the middle of the pitch to further up front. But he doesn't have that. Giroud was always going to be a suitable backup replacement because he provides something different within the context of how games are going. And I really expect that to happen. Can Giroud and Morata play up front together? I don't think Conte will ever do that. I think if it was the last 10 minutes of a game, I think they could provide something in terms of aerial threat, but at the same time, that would come at the cost of the midfield. But Nini, could we not just use a 3-5-2 with Morata and Giroud up front with Hazard behind? Again, would you really want Morata being the guy playing deeper, trying to link up the play and transition us from defence to attack? No, with Morata, he doesn't necessarily have that match intelligence. He's not necessarily going to play the right passing. As we saw in the Manchester United game, and he should have played in Eden Hazard. It was an easy opportunity for that pass, and he missed it completely because he's a bit similar to Torres in a way, where it's about keeping his head down, running at people, and just being very one-dimensional in his play. Of course, I understand Conte's trying to get him to grow overall, and I think it's definitely going to improve him as a player overall. So just to conclude this video, I feel that fans need to have more patience with Morata, but you have to stick with him. He needs that confidence to build. Giroud's a nice replacement, but at the same time, I don't think he's providing anything too amazing over Alvaro Morata. But anyway, that's just my thoughts and opinions on this whole Alvaro Morata versus Olivier Giroud debate. In the comment section below, let me guys know what you're thinking. Who would you prefer to see in the lineup? I'm going to have a poll in the community tab. Let me know if you want to see Giroud playing in the game against Man City, or do you want to see us continue with Alvaro Morata? Anyway, you guys, I'm the EFC. This is CWANless TV, signing out.